Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the legal rights of women along with the issues related to them. Women are exposed to different kinds of violence. Women are at risk before birth, during their life, and even after death. Living without fear and safe environment is a must. The principle of gender equality has been enshrined in the Constitution of India, that is the preamble and the fundamental rights, along with the fundamental duties and directive principles of state policy. It not only grants equality to women but also empowers the state to adopt measures of positive discrimination in favor of women within the framework of democratic polity. Our laws, development plans and programs have been aimed at women's advancement in different spheres. Women in 21st century are said to have the following rights, which include civil rights, criminal rights, matrimonial rights, rights at workplaces, and personal or individual rights. The Constitution of India enshrines Article 14, which provides for equality before the law or equal protection of the law within the territory of India. Article 15 prohibits discrimination by the state against any citizen on grounds only of caste, religion, sex, race, and place of birth. Fundamental rights are provided to every citizen of the country without any discrimination. Article 15(3) of the Constitution states, "Nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any special provision for women and children." Article 16 of the Indian Constitution guarantees equal opportunity to all citizens in matters related to employment in the public sector. The directive principles of state policy enshrined in the Constitution of India provides Article 39, which states that the state shall direct its policy towards securing adequate means of livelihood and equal pay for equal work. Article 42 provides for just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief, and the state shall make provision for securing just and humane conditions of work and for maternity relief. The fundamental duties, Article 59A, provides the duty of every citizen of India to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. What is the importance of awareness? Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji also states, "So kyo manda aake, jit jamhe rajan." From her, even kings are born, so why call her bad? The Hindu scriptures also say that it is man's obligatory duty to protect his wife and take care of her until the end. The Islamic law ensures gender, justice, and equity based on differences and uniqueness of both the genders. Christianity: a wise man brings joy to his father, but a foolish man hates his mother. As we grow into a political and economic powerhouse in the international arena, the rights and opportunities that have been provided for all of us in the Constitution are also gaining importance. Additionally, women have taken a center stage by gradually moving into the workforce and getting career-oriented. However, mental, physical and sexual harassment, misogyny, and gender inequality continue to be a way of life for them. It is in this context that her legal rights gains significance. The rights which are provided to the women includes right to getting equal pay. According to the provisions and under the Equal Remuneration Act, one cannot be discriminated on the basis of sex when it comes to salary or wages. Right against harassment at work. The enactment of the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013 gives you the right to file a complaint against sexual harassment. Then we have sexual violence, urgent need for legislation on sexual harassment, institution of mechanism to address instances of sexual harassment and training of functionaries appointed. Rape laws, need for change in rape laws, especially with regard to recording of evidence and the provision of efficacious justice so that victims are encouraged to report such instances. Need for a law to deal with child sexual abuse. Then we talk about crimes against women under Indian Penal Code. The Indian Penal Code 1860 lays down the provisions to penalize the culprit for the heinous offences against women. Various sections under IPC specifically deals with such crimes. Acid attack, section 326A and 326B. Rape, sections 375, 376, 376A, 376B, 376-3, 376D and 376E. Attempt to commit rape, section 376 by 511. Kidnapping and abduction for different purposes, section 363 and 373. Murder, dowry death, abetment of suicide, etc., section 301, 304B, 306. Cruelty by husband or his relatives, section 498A. Outraging the modesty of women, section 354. Sexual harassment, section 354A. Assault on women with intent to disrobe a woman, section 354B. Voyeurism, section 354C. Stalking, section 354D. Importation of girls up to 21 years of age, section 366B. Word, gesture or act intended to insult the modesty of a woman, section 509. Then we talk about the offences related to marriage. Cruelty by husband or his relatives, section 498A. The objective behind the introduction of this provision was to punish the husband and his relatives who torture, ill-treat and harass a woman with a view to force her or any other person related to her to meet any unlawful demands. The punishment for this offence is imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 years with fine. Dowry death, section 304B. It deals with dowry debts, which defines a dowry debt, whereas Clause 2 lays down its punishment, which is not less than 7 years and may extend to life imprisonment. Then we talk about rights of a married woman. What are the rights? Right to live in a matrimonial home, right to claim maintenance for self and children, right to an order of protection, right to live in the same house, right to claim compensation, which relates to employment and their physical well-being. In the event of the husband or the relatives subjecting such a woman to cruelty, they can be punished with imprisonment up to 3 years and fine. The death of a married woman with otherwise than under normal circumstances within 7 years of her marriage can be considered to be a dowry debt. Right against domestic violence. Section 498A provides recognition of the right to residence, provision for the appointment of protection officers and recognition of service providers, training for protection officers and judges, awareness creation, and budgetary allocation. The Act primarily looks to protect a wife, a female living partner, or a woman living in a household like a mother or a sister from domestic violence at the hands of a husband, male living partner or relatives. She or anybody on her behalf can file a complaint. Maternity Benefit Amendment Act 2017, which is also called Maternity Amendment Act, which extends to paid maternity leave for women employees with less than 2 surviving children from the original 12 weeks to 26 weeks. A maximum of 8 weeks can be taken before the expected delivery date and the remaining after childbirth. Women expecting their third child were also provided with the right to take 12 weeks of paid maternity leave, 6 weeks before childbirth and 6 after. The maternity amendment provided for mothers adopting a child up below 3 months of age to take 12 weeks of maternity leave from the date of receiving the child. Other legislations also provide Minimum Wages Act 1948. It does not allow discrimination between male and female workers or different minimum wages for them. Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956. It helps in protecting women from trafficking for the purpose of prostitution as an alleged organized means of living. Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, it prohibits the giving or taking of dowry at or before any time after the marriage from women. Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971, this allows the termination of certain cases of pregnancy by registered doctors on humanitarian and medical grounds. Family Courts Act 1984 provides for the establishment of family court for speedy settlement of family disputes. Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act 1986, it prevents improper representation of women via any advertisement or publications, writing, paintings, figures or any other manner. The Commission of Sati Prevention Act 1987, its object is to prevent the practices of sati and the glorification of such an act. An attempt to commit sati is also punishable under certain circumstances. To property. The Hindu Succession Act allows women and men equal share in inheritance, thereby setting new rules and regulations. In most Indian families, women do not own any property in their own names and do not get any share of parental property due to weak enforcement of laws of protecting them. Women continue to have little access to land and property. The Hindu Personal Law 1956 gave women right of inheritance. However, the sons had an independent share in the ancestral property, while the daughters' shares were based on the share received by their father. Hence, a father could effectively disinherit a daughter by renouncing his share of the ancestral property, but the son would continue to have share in his own right. After amendment of Hindu laws in 2005, now women have been provided the same status as that of men. 10 legal rights a woman must know. Free legal aid to women while lodging an FIR. Right to privacy while recording the statement. All female rape victims have the right to free legal aid under the Legal Services Authorities Act. Any person who has to file or defend the case is entitled to free legal services if he or she is a member of scheduled caste or scheduled tribe, a victim of trafficking in human beings or beggar as referred to in Article 23 of the Constitution, a woman or a child, a person with disability, a victim of a mass disaster, ethnic violence, caste atrocity, flood, drought, earthquake or industrial disaster, an industrial workman, or a person in custody or any person having annual income less than Rs 3 lakhs a year. No arrest of women after sunset. The cops can never say no to file an FIR. You cannot be called to police station for interrogation. You have a privilege of lodging a complaint via email or post. 2. Under all circumstances, the identity of rape victim will be protected. A case of rape cannot be rejected even if the doctor denies. Every employer should have an anti-sexual harassment committee. What have been the recent efforts for the upliftment of women? Number 1, we have reservation for women in local self-government. The 73rd Constitutional Amendment Acts passed in 1992 by Parliament ensured 1/3 of total seats for women in all elected offices in local bodies, whether in rural areas or urban areas. Recriminalization of adultery. On September 27, 2018, a 5-judge bench struck down another anti-colonial era law. Section 497 of the Indian Penal Code prescribed a maximum punishment of 5 years to men for adultery. Now, this has been taken care of and it has been struck down. And recently, another case of triple talaq, instant talaq or talaq-e-bitat, which is an Islamic practice allowing men to divorce their wives immediately by uttering the word talaq three times. The Honorable Supreme Court, once in its landmark judgment, has pronounced and has set aside the practice of triple talaq by a majority of 3:2. Then we have Sabrimala issue. The Honorable Supreme Court delivered one of the most keenly awaited judgment in Sabrimala case, whereby 4/1 majority, the Supreme Court permitted entry of women of all age group to the Sabrimala temple, holding that devotion cannot be subjected to gender discrimination. Then we talk about another special initiatives for the women. A National Commission for Women has been set up in 1992, which has a mandate to study and monitor all matters related to constitutional and legal safeguards provided for women, review the existing legislation to suggest amendments wherever necessary. Reservation for women in local self-government, 73rd Constitutional Amendment, as we have already told you. The National Plan of Action for the Girl Child to ensure her survival, protection and development of girl child with ultimate objective of building up a better future for the girl child. National Policy for the Empowerment of Women, 2001. For empowerment of women, the goal of the policy is to bring about the advancement, development and empowerment